The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete that. He's crazy.
Outside Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel's broadcast of the ASCORS Main Performance PC Grand National Series. Tonight, the Fords, Chevys, and Toyotas of the series will be competing in the King of Chins 150 presented by iRaceForLife.org. The series leaves the winding, twisting courses of Watkins Glen in mid-Ohio, heads a few miles up the road, and lands at Michigan International Speedway for round 10 of the championship. Hello. I'm Adam Young, and with me tonight in the booth is the one and only Sean Ambrose. In the director's chair and in my ear is Jason Fleischle, and he'll be featuring the wonderful cameras of Dougie Beard. Good evening to you, Sean. Of course, Michigan is known throughout the world of oval racing. Tell us a little bit about this place.
Oh, welcome to the big, beautiful Irish Hills, the scenic southeastern area of Michigan. We'll call it Brooklyn, Michigan this evening. Here running under daytime conditions, 4 very, very fast bank turns, 18 degrees in those turns. You'll have about 5 degrees down the backstretch, not much there. But boy, watch the racing across the front stretch this evening. That trip between turn 4 and turn 1 is going to be a blast every time they make it through. 3-4 wide racing. Some will even use part of that apron down there to find a little bit of speed. I'll tell you what, I've yacked enough about that track and how fast they'll get around here. Let's throw it to Brian Yazik in the Global Sim Racing Channel, Grand National Car.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazik, taking you for a spin around the Michigan International Speedway today in the GSRC Chevrolet Camaro. My home track, located in the Irish Hills of Michigan, about an hour's drive away from the Motor City, Detroit. For getting the car wound up, you're going to swing it up here, right up next to the fence to get your qualifying lap done. Off into turn 1, you're going to lift right about where that safer barrier starts. Let it roll out to about half throttle, back up, and you're going to ease back into it. You don't want to get the car below that seam right there, or else you will spin out pretty much 9 times out of 10. Aim for that crossover gate out of 2 and back down the backstretch. Off into turn 3, very easy to overdrive. My mark is that caution light right there on the wall. Let it float to the bottom, 3/4 back into the gas all the way. Let it drift way out here on corner exit, build up a lot of speed. You're going to see guys in the race run right down here as it progresses, just because it's a good draft block and it really kind of stops the momentum of people trying to get around you. Back off into turn 1 again. Aim lifting on that safer barrier, let it float. Don't get back into the gas too quick or the car will kind of do a 4-wheel slide out of the corner like it kind of did for me right there. Back down the back stretch, watching that 3M logo flash by. Off into turn 3, careful not to overdrive it. Lifting right about at that caution light, back all the way out of the gas as the run progresses. And you're going to roll back into the throttle very, very smooth. Smooth as silk. That's going to be the best way to get around here. Off of turn 4, down the front stretch, and across the line. That's going to complete our track guide here around the Michigan International Speedway. I'm Brian Yazik. This was the GSRC Camaro at Michigan. Enjoy the show.
And thanks to Brian Yazik for that lap around historic Michigan International Speedway. And Sean, the last time GSRC had the ASCORS Main Performance PC Grand National Series was in July for their 4th round at Kentucky. Brian Schoenberg took the win. Now that's important because of the chase these guys are running. And of course the chase, they've only got about 7 races left. And for the points standings, Jordan Hightower leads the points. He has a pretty good lead over J.D. Laird right now. The race is pretty much for second as far as the points themselves. Alex Bergeron and Byron Daly not too far behind, only about 3 points behind J.D. And Chad Coleman right there as well, 253. Of course, it'll only take one bad race by either one of those guys. Chad Coleman's right back into it. Now, as far as how that chase grid looks as we stand right now, we look at Brian Schoberg in there solidly with 4 wins, Doy Woods with 1 win. Now, that's important. Brian Schoenberg, we were told by the race organizers earlier that if he misses 1 race, he loses his eligibility because there is a race commitment clause in the chase grid. J.D. Laird is right there as far as the point standings. Chad Coleman, as we mentioned, and Alan Creer is about 330 behind, but only about 38 behind J.D. They're going to take the top 12 drivers. And speaking of the top 12 drivers and how it's ran, Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit more about how this chase is set up?
All right, let's cut to the chase, literally, okay? The main performance BC Grand National Series. Here's their format. Let's look at it real quick. 12 drivers, 3 rounds. Drivers earn a chase berth with a regular season win. All remaining spots will be filled by the eligible drivers' highest in series points. Now, drop weeks don't count towards the overall points and chase eligibility. Got to run 80%. 21 races in the regular season. This is where Schoenberg's got himself in a little bit of trouble here. Now, he's here tonight. That's good news, so he survives for another week. 7 races, 3 rounds, round of 12, round of 8, and the championship 4, as you can see there on the bracket on your screen, okay? Win a race to advance to the next round, while the bottom 4 of the points are eliminated after 3 races. Pretty simple. Now, 4 drivers are going to compete to win this championship in the finale at Homestead, and we'll all be tuned in for that. I'm certainly interested now, and I will be interested then, but a lot's got to happen tonight to get around Michigan International Speedway. Adam, we have a great race on tap for us tonight and a pretty deep field, sir.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Of course, Sean, the race, why don't you tell us a little bit about how that's going to be set up here tonight as well?
Yeah, let's talk about the details of the race because that's equally important. Going to run the Grand National cars tonight. That's going to be your Ford Mustang, the Camaro, okay, the Silhouette Pony car, as they somewhat call that. Open setup here. Everybody been working hard on that, and that'll be important this evening because this track is not forgiving. It's fast, but it's not forgiving. Now, the qualifying, that's going on right now. Single car qualifying, 2 laps. Your fastest 2. Got 75 hot laps on tap for you tonight. That'll be 150 miles here around this 2-mile speedway. No fast repairs. You better take care of your equipment because you're going to need it to finish this one. Fuel going to be at 100%. There is no incident cap, but penalties will be assessed by the race review board. And the restarts will be double file. May not have any tonight. Could see a green to checker finish at him. And the weather, oh man, the weather is beautiful here today. It's 86 degrees and clear, but brother, it is smoking on the track. It's 117 degrees. That will be an issue.
It really will, you know, and I took the liberty of taking a few laps around the course myself right before we got going, and these cars are going to be running pretty loose here tonight, which I guess at Michigan loose is fast, you know, so I think it's going to be a fun, exciting race to watch, and of course some of the storylines that I think we're going to be really trying to keep an eye on here for everybody tonight. Joshua Chins, he's won the last 2 races at both Watkins Glen and at Mid-Ohio. He hasn't had the greatest of season, so how is he going to do as far as turning some of his season around? And of course the chase, now this is round I believe 9 of 12 of this segment of the season. They break the Grand National Series up into 3 different segments. It's that last segment that the chase happens in, and that's only 7 races away, and of course 7 races for these guys is going to go by quick. And you know, Sean, one thing that we were talking about is that here at Michigan the momentum really tries to carry everything. You really have to be able to carry the momentum through the corners, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. We're watching Richard Beasley on screen having trouble doing exactly that. Car got broke away on him there during his qualifying lap, and well, it didn't end well, as you all saw there on screen. But you talked about Joshua Chin. Now, had a great run at Mid-Ohio. He's been great on the road, and so he's got some momentum heading here. Alex Bergeron had finished second in that race, and Byron Daly finished third. Tommy Ryan in fourth, and Jordan Hightower rounded out the top 5 there at Mid-Ohio. But it is a much different beast this evening. I would look for someone like Tommy Ryan and that unacceptable racing machine to be someone to watch tonight. I've watched him run super speedways and the intermediate tracks quite a bit, and I got to tell you, he's fast out of the box generally whenever he shows up. So I'll be keeping my eyes on him, but several drivers throughout this field tonight. Some great qualifying times already going up. J.D. Laird is sitting on the provisional pole right now with a 39.877. So, and he's the only one in the 8s right now. So Schoenberg right behind him with a 9.08. So as you can see, the time's pretty close. 9.11 right behind that. Very, very, very tough, tight field throughout the top 10. It drops back into the 40s outside of the top 10, but not everybody got a time yet. Looks like we're probably going to have about 26 cars this evening, Adam.
Yeah, that's a pretty good field, and you mentioned Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan, he is a hard racer. I think one of the last times I actually raced at Michigan was in a different league race with him, and I had to pass him on the outside to get him for position, and I mean like had to fight on the outside. So he's going to be tough out there. David Ankeny, he's a fellow Texan of mine. Raced quite a bit against him. He's going to be really tough. He races really tough, but really fair as well. And we mentioned when we were talking about the race details, I want to kind of go back a little bit. The ASCORS series actually has their own penalty system as far as incidents, and it's really interesting. It's kind of away from the iRacing system, and they actually have a point system. If you have an at-fault accident or even self-spins and stuff like that, and eventually you could accumulate enough points to actually have race suspensions. So expect these guys to really keep off of each other here today. We're only about 2 minutes, 15 seconds away from gridding here. J.D. Laird still on the provisional pole. I don't think anybody is on track at the moment. So, as far as that's concerned, I think we're just going to be seeing a smoking fast track today, and hopefully, we don't see tire wear play too much a role, but it will. As far as the type of races, Sean, that Michigan's famous for, fuel mileage, what do you expect there today?
Well, I had said they were running 100% fuel. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get maybe all the details we needed. That may not be the case, but if it is the case, then it's a one-stopper, 75 laps. They can get that done in one stop in this car. So I don't know how much fuel mileage becomes that big of a strategy if it's a one-stopper, but that being said, caution flags are gonna be a big deal, and if we see many of those, when you decide to come in, of course, based on where you're at on the track, going to be so important. But I got to tell you here, we've got just a minute left before we get out of the qualifying session. ASCORS has been around for a long time. These guys started back in 2006. They've been around for 10 years now. They started on the old NR2K3 NASCAR Racing 2003. For those of you who don't find yourself familiar with that or remember. But they started back in 2006. They've been in the sim community now for 10 years. And they ran that league for about 4 years. And back last September, they got guys back together and got back here, league racing and iRacing. And so some of these guys, these names, such as Joshua Chen and Alex Bergeron, these guys have established themselves in sim racing for a very long time. I've seen these names floating around for all 10 of those years, and plus a few of these guys in this league go all the way back to the NASCAR Heat days, which is the early 2000s. So a lot of experience on the track this evening, Adam.
Especially, I think it'd be a scary number to see if we were to accumulate all the years of experience that these guys have. Well, we just saw Joshua Chins try to put down a last-minute qualifying effort, but it looks like he's going to come up short, got into the wall there, it looks like, coming out of turn 4. So it looks like our grid is set with J.D. Laird sitting on the pole, Brian Schoenberg sitting on the outside. Sean?
Jordan Hightower going to start on the inside of row 2. Alex Bergeron going to start 4th.
Alan Creer starting 5th. And John Prather starting in 6th on the outside of row 3. Take a look at those times. There is not a lot of difference between these spots today.
No, like I said, that top 10 pretty bunched up. David Ankeny going to go off 7th in row 4. E.J. O'Rourke, 8th.
Chad Coleman's going to start this race in 9th on the inside of row 5. Outside of row 5, Doy Woods.
All right, and then you got Travis Sullenberg in the 66, going to start 11th. Tommy Ryan in the 99, just flip him upside down there, starting 12th. Not a bad spot.
We really did have to flip him upside down a little while ago in practice. 13th, Bradley Havard starting in the inside of row 7. Paul Nicholas Cooper starting in 14th.
All right, then we got Richard Beasley going to start on the inside of row 8 and 15th, and Joshua Campbell just on the outside there in 16th.
17th position belongs to Garrett Smithley, and Cody Welker starting in 18th in the outside of row 9.
All right, then we got Anthony Hyatt going to start on the inside of row 10 in the number 38. And Brent Sweet in the number 37 going to start on the outside of row 10, 20th.
Okay, now we get into the folks that did not set a time. Of course, we saw Joshua Chin, his last lap effort or last ditch effort to try to get a time in, come up a little bit short. He starts 21st. Jason Merritt starting 22nd.
Steve Lubender, 23rd. Robert Dalby, 24th.
And go ahead.
I was just going to run it out there real quick. John Wilco, 25th, and Chris Sweat in 26th. Adam, that is your 26-car field. That's a great number for this show.
That is 26 NASCAR Grand National B-Class cars getting ready to rumble around Michigan. Speeds going into turn 1 are going to be pretty high, upwards of about 190 miles an hour. I think these cars come in just short of that 200-mile-an-hour mark that we would see with the A-Class, the Cup car. One pace lap here today, so the light's already off on that Mustang pace car. And should be expecting a really good show, especially a good show up front. The first laps here are pretty crazy with the way the field spreads out, Sean.
Yeah, and you got to get some heat in the tires. You got to find a little bit of grip. We're starting fresh here, so again, you're going to need a little bit of grip to get started and start having a little bit of fun. You got to let the car settle down. So hopefully everybody be a little patient here on the start.
Yep, watching that pace car as it gets ready to round turn 4. We'll see it dip into the pit lane here in just a second. And of course, once they do, they'll hold off. There's a restart zone in effect. If they did not mention one in the drivers' meeting, that takes place when the green flag drops, and they're holding off, and they are away. We're going to start the King of Choose 150. Looks like J.D. Laird, he's going to go ahead and take the very, very good start from J.D. Brian Schoenberg, not so much on the outside, but sometimes that middle to high line here will be able to carry the momentum, so he might be able to try to get a run on J.D., but J.D. moves up high, tries to block that lane just a little bit. He knows Schoenberg is back there. As Jordan Hightower in that 22 car, he's going to make on play on second. He's going to try to make a play on the lead. And he's going to nose ahead here going into turn 3. And look at that. Look at Schoenberg. Schoenberg was thinking about making it 3 wide there. In fact, he's going to go ahead and try. Jordan Hightower all the way down to the apron. See a number of drivers down there. Now that's a little dangerous sometimes, especially when those tires get worn. So we'll keep an eye on that also. But Jordan Hightower is going to lead that first lap and take it into turn 2 and the backstretch.
Yeah, lots of fighting going on, lots of side-by-side racing. Got a couple cars looking down to the inside, trying to make it 3 wide on the backstretch.
There's that fanning out. Lots and lots of room to run here at Michigan International. It looks like J.D. Laird gets the lead just briefly from Jordan. Jordan's going to fight back on the inside, heading to the start-finish line. Who is going to lead this lap? And it looks like Jordan Hightower is going to be able to pull it off. Now, I expect to see quite a bit of that here today. Quite a few late lead changes are going to be on tap for us with as bunched up and as competitive as the top half of this field is going to be. Right now at the line, your top 5 is Hightower, Laird, Schoenberg, Bergeron, and Creer. And it looks like you've got J.D. Laird. He's going to be making a play on your leader, Jordan Hightower, now, as they're on outside running in the 3. Looking a little bit deeper back in the field, focusing on David Ankeny. He's right in front of P.J. O'Rourke. And then right behind them, Chad Coleman. It would kind of go a little bit, it looks like 2 wide behind them. Deeper into the field, a couple of 2 wide battles back there. Looks like you got Solenberg and Prattle. Doy Woods and Garrett Smithley are running side by side, along with Doy Woods not too far behind them. He's got a tight little battle going on. Sean?
Yeah, I'm watching Solenberg actually. I've been following him. Travis on quite a charge right now. He has picked up 5 spots since the start of the race and coming up through the field really quick. He's got a little company behind him there. That's a 63 of Garrett Smithley looking down to the inside, trying to get in his track, swings it way up to the wall, Smithley does. And he's got the 54 right behind him. That is put down on the inside. That's John Prather in the 54. Sorry there, folks. But yeah, it kind of was. But yeah, Sullenberg already got himself up to 9th. And like I said, that car really, that Camaro seems to be hooked up this evening.
Yeah, Sullenberg gaining a few positions early, back up front. J.D. Laird making a play back onto the lead. So there is another pass for the top spot as J.D. Laird takes it pretty easily, but Hightower's going to come right back on the inside, gets to his back bumper, and he's going to take that thing high going into the deep part of the track on Michigan, a D oval, so you have a little bit of a wide arcing front stretch. J.D. Laird's going to have third line here, I think, going into 1, but remember that outside line, you can gain a lot of momentum, and that's one thing these cars are known for, is they're momentum-based cars, so you really have to worry about keeping that momentum up. Jordan Hightower is probably going to get right up on the back bumper here. Bump drafting, is that a thing here, Sean? Do you sometimes see a little bit of bump drafting?
Certainly if you trust the guy in front of you and the guy in front of you trusts you, you'll see a little co-opetition going on here this evening. But right now, I'm watching. We've got 3 distinct groups out here now, Adam. And this race is starting off about like I expected it. I really thought that these boys would settle in, take it easy there on that start. It's exactly what we saw. But Brent Sweet right now, sitting back here in 20th place, he basically is taking it upon himself to bring the back of the field along with him. Now, they got a little ways to go to get up there and catch Joshua Campbell, who's at the back of that next group. But this group back here is being patient, working, letting the car come in, and really starting to turn some fast laps. Laps that'll get them to that group if they're just patient.
Absolutely, and sometimes there's sometimes something to be said for just lagging in the back of the field at the beginning of these races. Maybe there could be a big accident. Of course, we got a lot of cars in a very tight space here. Well, I say tight, but just in a short amount of time on track. Obviously, Michigan is pretty wide. But, as we were talking about all that, the front half of the field really stabilized out, kind of running nose to tail right now, just trying to take it easy. Excuse me. Of course, here today, 150 miles, 75 laps. That's going to go away pretty quick, but at the same time, you still have to be in a position to try to kick off laps. As we look at Jordan Hightower taking a look down low, but he's nowhere near JD. And go back a little bit, though. Looks like Ankeny is running side by side now with Travis Sullenberg. Travis Sullenberg is going to try to grab another position. He should be now up about 3 spots since the drop of the green flag. I think you're right, Sean. I think that is going to be a man on the mission, and now that everybody's lined out, he can try to pick them off one by one.
Yeah, the Extreme Energy Machine definitely looks strong, but I got to be honest, Ankeny looking good. He's patient now, and he's working with a little bit of draft. Those 2 Camaros working really nice together, and the 2 are certainly faster than the 1 because that 63 of Garrett Smithley right now starting to lose them just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, and those Ankeny knows how to play these tracks. Ankeny is really good at these type of facilities. He knows the fast guys. He can latch on. Sean?
Yeah, no, I just got a good battle back here with the 79 of Joshua Chin and Bradley Havard. They almost locked it up there coming out of the turn and able to gather it up, but that's some close racing there. They've got now the 79 able to get out just a bit. Now Chin able to break away, and he's working now on John Prather, trying to set him up for a move here, heading down through the turn.
And while that's going on, we now have a battle for the lead. Things have just exploded up front as Jordan Hightower takes the lead from JD, or pulls right up in front of him coming out of 2, and now JD finds himself in a little bit of a hornet's nest with Bergeron and Schoenberg right there. In fact, JD might fall all the way back to 3rd here with Schoenberg fighting back on the inside. Ooh, it looks like JD gets a little bit loose there, and 4th has to chase it up the track just a touch, and that's going to allow Alex Bergeron to get by on the inside. And all of a sudden, Alan Creer's kind of sniffing back there. He's thinking just maybe I can get back up front there and, try to get a position away from the guy that was just a leader a lap ago. Now all the way back and forth. Jordan Hightower now in the lead. Schoenberg in 2nd, Bergeron 3rd, and J.D. Laird running in 4th, Alan Creer in 5th. Sean?
Well, I mentioned it just a moment ago. A great start. Everybody taking care of the car here so far. We are 12 laps in, getting ready to work lap 13. I would say around 15 to 17 laps. You're charging hard, fighting hard. Just saw Joshua Chin get loose coming out of turn 4. I think you're going to start to see the cars loosen up a little bit. May even be a little bit more space on track. I don't know that we'll see much more of that really, really close side-by-side racing going through the turns here in about 5 laps.
And Sean, what do you say right now about clean air with these cars? I mean, they're all running nose to tail. I mean, how important is trying to get clean air on the nose to try to keep the handling in it?
Well, Jordan Hightower is at the front for a reason. He's eating that up. He's getting the best downforce on the track right now, except for maybe some of these guys here towards the back. And if you're not in the tow, you're steering a little bit better. Got the 3-wide battle going into 1 possibly.
Yeah, it looks like Brian Schoenberg is going to show his muscle. He's going to try to take the lead from Jordan Hightower here. And, one thing I'm noticing already, like right there, Schoenberg, oh, wow, if you couldn't have put a piece of paper between his right rear quarter panel on the wall there, as he really stuck it sideways coming out of the corner. And that's one thing I'm starting to notice, Sean, is just how much these drivers are having to start to work that wheel as these cars really start to loosen up in the middle of the run. As Schoenberg once again takes it way out to the run. Of course, now we got a battle phone on for 4th and 5th. Chad Coleman in 4th, Alan Creer in 5th. And wow, that looks like a good 5-car battle going on back there for 5th, going back to about 9th spot. They are racing hard.
Yeah, and there's our friend Travis Sullenberg now up in that mix. Gets a nice run. Oh, and Sullenberg gets loose out of the turn. Has to gather it up. He's able to. Wow, that was a close call. I put the commentator's curse on him, started talking about the poor guy. J.D. Laird, he had a really great run on Laird, and then the car just broke on him, and he had to gather it up and get back on it. But Sullenberg back off pace now. Got to run on J.D. Laird. Looking to the inside. Heading down across the stripe. Going to take that position from J.D. Laird. And got himself working on EJO work now.
Yeah, very, very good battle going on up there. Sullenberg's going to grab just another spot. I think that's the 2 stories of the race here right now. The one that's been constant has been Sullenberg trying to march through the top half of the field, just picking off people one by one. And now we also have to mention how far back J.D. Laird has fallen. Since he was in the lead, has now fallen all the way back to 8th position. That is, just a few minutes ago, he was leaving us the clean air and everything else, gets back in there, and all of a sudden this handling goes away. We got so many slides.
Sullenberg off the track.
Sullenberg, we got a couple cars behind him. He was going into the pits there. It's like, whoo, that got exciting there for a minute. I'm not sure if they went into the pits to actually pit or if they were trying to avoid the trouble they were seeing develop in front of them. As we take a look at the replay, looks like Joshua Chin, whoa! Do not get any more sideways than that without completely going around. Good save by Joshua Chin. That's Jason Merritt right in front of him. And of course, we had the Sullenberg incident too, where he took a trip through the grass and I guess decided he was going to go ahead and save the groundskeepers some hassle.
And he made it through clean. Amazingly enough, Sullenberg makes it through clean. Now, he lost spots. Make no mistake about that. He's cycled all the way back to 12th now, but he saved the car. No damage. He's going to have to do it all over again. He's going to have to get back to work.
Which is, I guess, much better than what the alternative would be in that situation. Once again, though, Schoenberg, I've been watching Schoenberg here a little bit up front, and every corner right now, especially coming out of 2, I'm seeing that right rear just really try to kick out and really almost touch that wall. So handling, even with the clean air starting to go away just a little bit, and we're already starting to see it with a couple guys getting really loose coming off turn 4. I think we found our trouble spot here for at least until they make their pit stop, Sean.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, Sullenberg, keep going to him, but he's the one making all the moves right now. He's got to move right now. Just past the 18 there of Paul Cooper and working on Tommy Ryan now. Oh, and the car gets loose again. Wow. And he saves it.
I think the old term for that back in the olden days in NASCAR was the hospital wobble.
Yes, sir. I do remember the hospital wobble.
Yeah, so that is definitely. All right, looks like Lavender had just a moment there, Sean.
Yeah, I'm seeing here Steve had a bit of a problem there. And car just broke loose on him. Go figure. Hey, he does save it, though.
Yeah, and I think Steve Lavender just became a big fan of the fact that they paved the infield here. There is no backstretch grass there for quite a while.
You know, I was just thinking that as you were going to that, it was exactly what I was thinking. It's like, man, I'm so glad there's not grass there anymore, because that might have been the end of his night. Again, there is no fast repair. You better take care of it. You wreck them up here, you're not going to go fast at all. You got to have your arrow intact. And watching Tommy Ryan almost losing it, coming out of 4, but manages to get back in line. He's got Sullenberg right behind him, and the 54 of John Prather. Got to be honest, Prather's been actually really steady throughout the run right now.
He really has, and that's something right there to keep your eye on, because, he was only 17th quick in practice. Excuse me. Seem to be coughing here all of a sudden. He was only 17th quick in practice, so sometimes, slow is fast, and people get confused when you say that, but, he's taking care of his equipment, and he's trying to make some spots up as he gets through the field. And of course, he's got Tommy Ryan not too far behind him, and Tommy Ryan now still have to deal with Sullenberg. Looks like Sullenberg's going to go ahead and make a run up.
Oh, it's back to the grass. Oh, he took the big hop.
Oh, now the question is, did he end up with any damage from that? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a replay of the action here. Wow, Sullenberg just all of a sudden
loose on track.
Yeah, Sullenberg all of a sudden just shot to the left here. Let's see what happens.
Well, he loses again, coming off the turn. Gets off from the grass. You're going to see him go over the bump. Yeah, Dukes a hazard. That's all we were missing was a little Waylon Jennings playing in the background right there. But, yeah, that was a heck of a ride for Sullenberg. Now, he keeps it on track, but the car is really not handling well. Let's go back up to the front where the real battle's really at now.
Yeah, slowly but surely, Schoenberg is losing ground to Alex Bergeron, and right now the difference is down to about 0.4 of a second, so he's losing almost 0.2 of a second. But look at that! Where did he come from? All of a sudden, is that the lap car?
Yeah, that is Doy Woods.
Yeah.
Doy Woods, who had come in the pit just earlier. Actually, that car is on fresh tires, and obviously you can see the speed as he goes, just flies by Schoenberg. But Doy had a little trouble early, had to come in and pit early, but the car looks good now. He's just a lap down, but hey, caution comes back out here. Doy is back on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, and he'd be looking pretty good. He might be able to try to play a little strategy game here. But keep in mind, yeah, he was really in good position. I mean, I think that he was caught up in the Joshua Chin deal. So when he got stuck behind Joshua Chin, when Chin had to dive into the pits while he was loose, he figured, hey, I'm here. I might as well stop and take tires and try to make something happen. But that kind of slowed Bergeron's progress to the front just a little bit, but not by much. He's been able to close that gap now down to about 0.2 of a second, and they are coming in. Woo!
Okay,
Schoenberg almost lost it coming into the pit road there. He almost slid it right into the end of the wall.
Yeah, almost did. Bergeron does keep the Nesquik machine out there. The Camry still on the track. Your new leader. Several guys, bunch of cars still on the track. The top 10 out there, not in the pits.
Yeah, it looks like Alan Greer right now is leading this field, but these guys, as you saw with the 91 car, coming around that fast, these guys need to come in or they're going to lose a lot of ground to the guys that are already on pit road.
Bergeron with trouble trying to get into the pit. Car all over the track. Wow, that was a wild ride for Bergeron. Check this out, Adam.
Wow,
Yeah.
man. As soon as he
Mr.
got off the
Toads.
gas.
Mr. Toad's wild ride into the pits here in the Irish Hills of Michigan.
And I misspoke earlier. I said Alan Creer was still leading the field. No, it was indeed Alex Bergeron. We've been talking about it for a while, and man, it's almost like he just came in there a little too hot, tried to jump on the binders, and as soon as he did, that car stepped sideways. Thankfully, though, it didn't look like he lost a whole lot of time, but still enough that he's going to have to try to gain back ground on your leader whenever we come back around, because Schoenberg should still be the lead once we cycle around. Yep, and here he comes. So there he is, catching back up to Doy Woods. In fact, you can already see the time that Doy Woods has lost in probably the 4 or 5 laps that he was out there before the leaders started to pit. It looks like Garrett Smithley right now is one of the last cars that has not pitted yet. As far as the cars that have not pitted yet, Garrett Smithley, once again, your leader, but he cannot stay out there for very long. He's just hoping that something happens to be able to kind of help him out and get a little bit of track position. But we'll see what happens.
He stays out for another lap, but here's the difference of what that is. It's about almost 4/10 of a second slower than all these other cars that he's losing time by staying out there right now. He probably want to think about getting that car in here pretty soon, because now Lubender's still out there on track without a pit, and so is Anthony Hyatt. But those are cars that at this point we're so far back, they're really off cycle, and these fresh cars on the track, Hyatt coming in right now, these fresh cars on the track, I'm watching Smithley, see what he does. You see the 18 just got by him real quick there as Paul Cooper going by, and he can't do it. He tried. He was thinking about it.
Oh,
Smithley,
big. Sorry to interrupt you. Brian Schoenberg was just flagged for a blend line violation. Your leader, who is going to take the lead back once everybody's cycled through, is going to have to come in to serve a black flag.
Well, that's going to shake things up just a bit. Ouch.
So that just became almost the story of the day right there. I mean, that's huge. He's going to have to try to fight his way back. It's definitely not something you can't overcome. But keep in mind, we've already clicked off quite a few laps. We're almost at halfway here. I think Garrett Smithley, is he trying to come in, or is he just really loose?
He's staying out. He's staying out again. Now, I got to be honest with you, the previous lap, I really think he was trying to come down. And if the car did not slow down enough for him, he decided to keep it on track. But it was really, really close. Gotta imagine he's going to come down here any time now.
And Brian Schoenberg, I think he just decided to go ahead and call it a day instead of sticking out there and trying to fight through. He just manually disconnected from the circuit.
Well, he got his start in, so not much to lose there. But that is a shame to see him out. He was having a great run.
Yep, and meanwhile, while we were thinking about the Schoenberg situation and everything else, Smithley still staying out. His lead right now over E.J. O'Rourke is 14 seconds. Lublinger, they're 16 seconds behind that. But J.D. Laird, who should take over the lead, I believe he's already come in, 17 seconds back. But he might have done a little bit of strategy or something, because he lost a lot of ground there a little while back.
Well, as I see it right now, it'll be Laird to take that lead. He's only got 2 seconds there to catch E.J. O'Rourke, and like I said, Smithley going to have to come in here at some point. He's not that far up the road, so it does look like J.D. Laird going to take over, unless E.J. can keep him behind him there, but it does look like right now J.D.'s got a little bit better pace.
that's going to be interesting to see, especially since we saw JD. I mean, he really kind of fell off there with about 30 laps into the race, and we saw him go from the lead all the way back to 8th position. But once EJ and Garrett finally make their pit stops, looks like you mentioned, we should be looking at JD Laird as your new leader. Jordan Hightower should be running in second, I believe, at that point. Of course, the big penalty against Schoenberg just a few minutes ago has kind of changed all that up. Right now, EJ O'Rourke, he's got JD right behind him. These guys are really, really hoping for a caution, I think. At least Garrett Smithley is especially. Now that gap between Garrett and EJ is now down to 9.6 seconds at the line. So that gap is shrinking, and it's shrinking in a hurry, Sean.
It is, but I'm starting to do the math and wondering if he could stay out here, 4 more laps. Will they catch him? Yeah, they'd probably catch him in 4 laps. See, if he could stay out here 4 more laps, he could truly one-stop this race.
And that might be his plan, as EJ Rourke is really loose right in front of JD Laird. Wow, coming out of 4, he almost took care of himself right there. Jordan Hightower now right there behind them as well. So this, excuse me, that's not Jordan Hightower, that's the 23 car, JD, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm getting all turned around myself here real quick, Sean. Sorry about that.
That's all right, buddy, but it does look like they have... Solenberg now making his way around Smithley, but Smithley's still on the track.
And John Wilco's the car that's in there right now, mixing it up with them. So Garrett Smithley, though, still on track. He just went around again. I think you're right. I think that's his plan right now, to try to go ahead and get in a position where he might be able to one-stop this race. And we were talking that might not be a bad idea. Everybody else, I think, is breaking it up into thirds, but man, coming out of 2 there, it almost bit him a little bit as he really, really got loose there just a second ago.
Well, JD Laird, that last lap was about 2 seconds faster. I'm sorry, not 2. Yeah, about 2 seconds faster. So, what's it worth? The tires. We're going to find out here real quick, but I kind of like. I admire the strategy of Garrett Smithley. You can see the last lap there on screen. Keeping track of that here for you on the Global Sim Racing channel.
Yeah, there's that time difference. I mean, that's a pretty big time difference of over 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds there, the last lap between those two, and JD's really crashed that lap. Oh wow, coming out of turn 2 that time, Garrett actually got into the wall a little bit and had to slide all the way down into the infield. As we're looking right now at a battle between 8th, 9th, and 10th, they're all right there between Bradley Harvard, Tommy Ryan, and David Ankeny. There's that right now is probably the closest battle on the racetrack.
Well, here we go. Garrett Smithley working lap 37. Does he come in here? They are hot on his tail. JD Laird has closed that to less than a second. Look at the run out of turn 2 by JD Laird. They're going to pass him on the back straight. There he goes. Gotta imagine Smithley going to come in right here. Going to be hard to do, though, with traffic right there. He's going to have to be careful. He's pitting. He just made his call.
And that's probably a smart thing to do, because he's having a real tough time hanging on to that thing now. So if he does try to one-stop it, I mean, that'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. So the one guy on track that absolutely right now does not want to see a caution, he wants to see how his strategy plays out, is going to be Garrett Smithley. And if that caution comes out, that's pretty much going to throw his strategy out the window. But
he overshot his pit. He overshot his pit, had to back up, lost precious time.
That could end up being huge, especially if later on in the race he's on older tires and everybody else is on fresh tires, and he's trying to hold them off. Now we're going to take a replay here real quick of him coming into the box. Probably just see it back it up just a touch. And we'll get back. There he is coming in, and he just smokes it. Oh, slides probably about a stall in front and has to slam that thing into reverse and get back into his stall. Now, with all that, JD Laird is now your leader. Hightower now is running in second, about a second behind. EJ Rourke running in third, Chad Coleman in fourth, and Alan Greer running in fifth. In fact, why don't we just go ahead and take the rest of the way through the field here real quick, Sean, while we have a second?
Sure. Yeah, we got Alan Greer there, we said in fifth. Bradley Hubbard has got himself up to sixth. Tommy Ryan up to seventh. John Prather, steady in eighth. David Ankeny in ninth. Paul Cooper in 10th.
Yeah, running behind them is Doy Woods. Richard Beasley right now running in 13th. Cody Walker 14th. Steve Lubiner running in 15th. Joshua Campbell in 16th. And Brent Sweet 17th. Sullenberger, who's really on a march earlier, but he kind of found himself in a little bit of a hole after that adventure. It's in 18th and Robert Dalby 19th, and those are your cars on the lead a lap right now with Garrett Smithley losing a lap when he had to pit.
Yeah, but here comes Garrett Smithley to the inside of J.D. Laird. Gonna get back on the lead lap, and he is fast right now. He just came up through those three cars like a hot knife through butter, heading down into turn one.
Yeah, that's those fresh tires. And even though those guys weren't out there, but probably 5-10 laps before Smithley pitted there, that's all that difference. Is J.D. Laird is pretty loose coming out of two, and that's gonna allow Jordan Hightower to take a look, heading down the back straightaway, going into turn three. They are fighting for that lead. It's going to three. Jordan Hightower should easily take the position, and indeed, J.D. Laird decides that discretion is the better part of valor here and decides to let him go.
Yeah, still bit of ways to go here. 35 laps left in this race. You still have to take care of the car. Don't risk it here. But I got to tell you, Smithley has really gotten out way ahead of those guys. Got a little help from behind now. EJ O'Rourke in his draft. And EJ having a little bit of trouble getting off turn two. That car got loose. So Garrett Smithley going to break away and continue his charge to stay on this lead lap, and who knows? We'll see what happens here. We saw how little he had left in those tires at the end of the run, so this could prove to be a very, very interesting strategy.
It definitely could be, but not necessarily a bad one, especially if we stay caution-free here. I mean, this first half of the race is just clicked away. We're already down to 33 laps to go on the back half here. With Jordan Hightower up in front. Now we're taking a look back now, looking at Bradley Hubbard and Tommy Ryan right now, fighting it out for sixth place, with Bradley Hubbard in sixth, Tommy Ryan in seventh. Looks like David Ankeny is not too far behind them. He might try to take advantage of it here, especially these guys get to running side by side, and of course they've got their eyes set on John Prather as well. Very, very competitive. Of course, we all know how competitive Tommy Ryan can be. We see him in a number of broadcasts here on GSRC, and he's going to be trying everything he can to get around. But there's that draft. He might be able to try to get a run going on him going into one, but more importantly, speaking of the draft, look how much David Ankeny is being able to gain on Tommy Ryan here in just the last few seconds, as looks like Prather is going to try to get around that lap car there. David Ankeny is probably going to try to sneak by on the inside here as they head into out of two, rather, onto the backstretch. The backstretch here pretty long, but not as long as the front stretch. The D shape of the front stretch actually makes it quite a bit longer, and that's why the Cup cars, not these cars, but the Cup cars, can get speeds well over 200 miles an hour. Meanwhile, in comparison, J.D. Laird, your leader, heading into turn one right now, going at about 187 miles per hour. So that's kind of the difference between the A-class car and the B-class car here in iRacing. David Ankeny, we're starting in seventh right now, running in eighth, a spot behind where he qualified. But he wants that spot back as he takes a look on the inside of Tommy Ryan as we ride along with him. Great shot from David Ankeny, of course, running the Children's Hospital car. I forget which Children's Hospital is, but he actually...
we got trouble. Steve Lubiner, Robert Dalby. Garrett Smithley get caught up in that.
Steve Lubiner just getting back on the track. So that more than takes care of Smithley's strategy plan here. Steve Lubiner Yeah, Luvender just had to check up, and then all of a sudden, things just happened. Right along with Luvender as we head through 3 and then 4. And I'm not sure if he just got loose here or something, but he ended up having to check up hard and lost a lot of time, lost a lot of speed, and it was the kind of the trigger for that accident, Sean.
Wow.
Yeah, you hear that, Sean? That sounds a little odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, hard to explain that one. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you, Adam. I wasn't behind the wheel, so I don't really know. But man, that really just shakes this race up. Looks like all the leaders, everybody, going to decide to come in. The big, Smithley is back on the lead lap, but a little bit of damage on that car is probably going to make a difference in how quickly he's going to be able to get back up through the field.
Yeah, and it pretty much takes any strategy hopes he had out the window. Jordan Hightower is in his box. J.D. Laird slides to a stop in his box, but does get it stopped in time. And Jordan Hightower, the right sides are on, left sides are going on right now. He peels away. Will he be able to keep the lead? And it looks like he will, as actually I think J.D. Laird's going to come out in third once everything's said and done here.
How about the pit stop by Chad Coleman? Coleman really putting the hammer down back there. He was starting back on pit road, and Coleman with a really nice pit stop there. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe he only took... No, he's got the same amount of time in the pit stop as the rest of the guys. It was just a good entry and a clean exit gets Coleman up to second. Sullenberger having trouble back there in the pit. Here, and he's still in there.
Yeah, Sullenberger, of course, had the little problem earlier. He might have been trying to fix a little bit of damage. Maybe that's why he hung around the box just a little bit longer from that trip through the infield earlier, where he kind of took that jump. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we're hearing that possibly it happened on pit entry when he's coming into his stall. We'll take a look here. Have to back it up just a touch more as he slides in. No, he's still sitting there. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a better look at it here.
Fourth time's a charm.
Oh, we'll try it one more time here and see if we can.
I think if... there it is. You see him kind of catch the wall just a touch right there. Here we go. Now we'll see it just perfectly. Comes in, it looks like starts to brake for his stop, and then let's see what happens at that point. Just goes in just a little too hot, looks like, and
Ouch.
just kind of bounces off the wall.
Yeah. What do you say we run? What do you say we run down the field right now? Looks like everybody's been in.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Hightower running in your first spot. Chad Coleman with a great pit stop running in second. J.D. Laird running in third. Bradley Peverd running in fourth. And Alan Creer rounds out your top 5.
All right, John Prather got himself up to 6th. Tommy Ryan in 7th. Cody Welker going to be 8th place right now. David Ankeny hanging in there in 9th. Richard Beasley rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, Dwayne Woodson right now at 11th. Brent Sweet 12th. Alex Bergeron running in 13th after a pretty good run early on. Paul Nicholas Cooper running in 14th. Joshua Campbell 15th. Robert Dalby right now running in 16th. Travis Sullenberger after that pit road incident. I think he lost a few more spots, but running in 17th. E.J. Rourke 18th. And Steve Lubiner running in 19th. John Wilco in 20th.
All right, and two last cars on track right now. Garrett Smithley, cyclist in 21st. Anthony Hyatt in 22nd. Looks like we got a couple guys coming back in. E.J. O'Rourke and Steve Lubin are going to go back in. Chris Sweat and Joshua Chin still sit in their boxes. I don't know if they'll get those cars back out on the track.
At this point, I don't think there'd be enough laps for really Joshua Chin to really do anything. Of course, we know Schoenberg disconnected earlier after the blend line violation that he had, and Chris Sweat. I'm not exactly sure what happened to Chris Sweat, what he called today, but he's been sitting in there now for about 17 laps. So now the story is going to focus on, I think, J.D. Laird's really fast. It seems like he's really fast in the short runs. Of course, lights are off in the pace car, by the way. We're going to be going to green here this time by. But Jordan Hightower, I think, has had the most consistency of everybody in the top 5 here today. There's a couple of people that we know are hungry. They're sitting just outside the top 5. Folks like Tommy Ryan, John Prather is right there. We've got a couple of guys still to really keep our eyes on here for the rest of the race, Sean.
Well, I got to tell you, from a broadcaster standpoint, I'm just glad we didn't get a battle between Sweat and Sweet. I might have had a bit of a problem with that.
Little bit of a tongue twister as we take the pace car is getting ready to peel off as it goes through turn 4, and we are getting ready to start this thing one more time. Well, some people are hoping it's one more time. It looks like Chad Coleman actually can get a pretty good start here as they head in. They hit the loud pedal. Jordan Hightower and Chad Coleman running side by side as they head down the tail end of the front stretch going into turn 1. And it looks like Jordan Hightower is going to get a little bit of a push from J.D. Laird to help nudge him out in front of Chad Coleman. Chad Coleman
3 wide.
Wow, we got a couple of guys. We got almost 4 wide back there. Woo! David Akeny's on the bottom of that. I don't know if he understood what was going on just to the right of him. If not, he might have been sweating bullets. But they are just in one big pack heading down the backstretch. They know that cautions do not come often here at Michigan. They are trying to get every single spot that they can as they try to go another time. 3 wide down the stretch. David Akeny over there.
Bergeron. I'm sorry, Adam Bergeron, the man in the middle. He is all over the track, finding whatever line he can, but he is in the middle right now. He got the 91 on the inside of Doy Woods. And the 10 was up there. Richard Beasley was up top. But, man, I'll tell you what, Bergeron trying to make up a lot of ground quick here.
Yeah, he is doing a good job of it, too. Of course, Alex was very, very fast in the early part of this race. He is showing that same speed again here as we are at 25 laps to go, heading to 24 laps to go. As they head down the front stretch, man, it looks like from about 5th on back right now.
Bergeron still in the middle, going across the line. I mean, it's just, oh, man. It's Bergeron all the way up to the wall as he gets through the turn. Now he's working back down towards the middle of the track there on the outside. He's got David Ankeny there right at his door. And he's got the 10 there, Richard Beasley, right at his bumper, and dips to the inside, takes the nose. That
was a gutsy move right there to try to get around John Prather, get right in front of David Ankeny. And look at the 10 car there, Richard Beasley going on Prather. Now, Alex slides right in front of him. Oh, no, they check up.
He got
John
loose.
Prather is around.
Yeah, he got loose when Alex came down in front of him. And
he had to check up a little bit and ended up getting hit from behind, and that's what sent him around. And wow, that could have been a much bigger incident than what it was. There is no yellow, folks. We stay green as we're going to take one more look at it here. Alex Bergeron slides right up in front. He gets a little loose, but then gets hit. He got help there.
Richard Beasley had nowhere to go there, man. There was nothing he could do, and Beasley able to keep it on track, but takes a little bit of damage to that car. He's starting to slide back, but Bergeron continues his charge. Working on Tommy Ryan right now.
That could have been a much bigger incident than what it was. But now the things have tried to settle out just a little bit. But that actually could work in Alex Bergeron's favor as he can try to pick people off one by one. Chad Coleman's going to make a play for the lead. Heading down the backstretch, going into turn 3, is also J.D. Laird's going to try to sneak by here as they head into 3. Jordan Hightower might just slip in right behind them, right between them and Alan Creer as they head down the front stretch. Chad Coleman looks like he's going to be pretty much a lock to lead this lap, but J.D. Laird's going to be looking on the outside as they head into turn 1. As Chad Coleman slides back to the front, J.D. Laird tries to snip just a little bit of the inside, but decides better of it. He's going to keep his line as they run through turn 2, heading to the backstretch.
Boy, and Bergeron just passes Tommy Ryan. Bergeron's car seems to be turning really, really well. Tommy's not as good, but Bergeron able to stick it down there on the inside and make it turn all the way through without getting loose right now. And that's what some of these other guys are fighting. But Bergeron just now got himself up to 6, looking at the top 5, and Bradley Hammond right in front of him. Let's ride around with Bergeron here for a lap. With just 20 to go, it's time to boogie. Let's get this party going, Adam.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, before we start that part, we got into one note here. Garrett Smithley, who we were watching earlier, is disconnected from the race, so he is done for the day. Alex Bergeron coming down the backstretch, very fast backstretch. He's going to take a look on the inside of Buckshot Bradley in the 00 car there. Bradley gets a little loose.
Oh, he's in the wall. He's in a Tommy Ryan. Oh, Tommy Ryan makes a great move.
We've got one car, though, still spinning back there, it looks like. I can't see who that is.
He's in the grass.
But wow, he stayed green.
Oh, and he's over. That's Robert Dalby. Oh, he's been blinded by the end of the pit wall. Up on his side, has to take the toe in. That's going to end Dalby's race for sure.
Man, such a shame. If you can take a look at the replay. Oop! And I think that's the next thing that iRacing needs to focus on for physics there, Sean, is when I hit those barrels at the end of pit road, I want something to fly out of them. But unfortunately for Dalby, the only thing that was flying out of that was the side of his car as he puts it on the side, gets loose coming out of 4, tries to save it, and it just snaps back around on, goes through the grass, hits the end of the pit road, and puts it on its lid. And with the tow time and the pit time and everything else, that you're right, that's pretty much going to ruin and end his day, at least as far as any possibility of having a good finish there. He's probably going to finish down at about 21st spot.
Yeah, Travis Sullenberger back in here. He's still battling, trying to salvage a top 10 finish right now. He was in the Hornet's Nest. He's fighting there with Richard Beasley, who we know is just a little bit off pace, but boy, they're racing hard, and here comes the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke up on the outside. Oh, man. But Sullenberger able to keep it down there. He's tracking well. Beasley going to get right up on him. Oh, man. Tries to take the air off of him.
No, it almost looked like from this angle, man, he couldn't have been any closer to him. I honestly think maybe he just did nudge him just a touch, as it looks like E.J. O'Rourke's going to give Richard Beasley just a little bit of a push as they head into turn 3. There's some of that little bit of bump drafting that sometimes takes place here. These cars' bumpers, by the way, match up a little bit better in some places than, say, your A-class cars.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, it's a crazy move. So as we move back up front real quick, Chad Coleman still in the front. J.D. Laird only about 0.2 of a second behind him, though. That's still within striking distance. So we know J.D. Laird, this is still the area where his car is still, probably handling pretty good for him. And Jordan Hightower not far behind him. But going back a little bit further, you got Creer. Looks like he's going to lose a spot to Alex Bergeron. Alex Bergeron still on the move. Yeah, he keeps up this pace, he might just be able to get back up to the front before everything's said and done. Of course, Sean, as you know, catching somebody is one thing, passing them is another. Even though this track is wide, you can still make your car awfully big.
Yeah, well, it's like my old buddy Soup says, it's kind of like milking a rooster. Catching them is one thing. Milking them,
I've got nothing.
Boy, but I'll tell you what, Bergeron, you talked about Bergeron. We've talked about him quite a bit. Why? Because he keeps coming through the field. But, brother, he's got some dudes in front of him here. Hightower, Laird, and Coleman are going to give him nothing. And as he continues to close, this battle to the end, with now just 15 laps to go, is going to be about as exciting as it gets, Adam.
I think it really is, especially with Hightower back there. I really think Hightower's lagging back right now. We're going to take a little bit trip back to the back part of the field. Beasley and Cooper going at it. And tight little battle here. Not only that, you also got Joshua Campbell right back there as well. He's sitting there in that, Joshua Campbell in 12th, running with Beasley right behind him, and Cooper running in 14th right behind him. And Beasley in the tide ride there is going to try to take a look at the inside of Joshua Campbell. Thinks better of it. Pulled it.
And he's
in the wall hard. How did he keep that thing going all the way around? He snapped it. I think he hit the right front and the right rear.
Yeah, and he already had a little bit of right front damage he was working with, and those cars were just a little bit too close together. I honestly think the dirty air really got the best of him there.
Going back up front, Jordan Hightower just lost a spot to Alex Bergeron. That is a big move right there. He's got his sights set on J.D. Laird here. He's back in, tries to stake just a little bit, but keeps it going straight. Doesn't actually lose hardly any time at all. J.D. Laird's going to have to fight here to hold off Alex Bergeron to head into one. Alex is still very much on the move.
2 words, Adam. Hooked up. He's just hooked up, man. I mean, that's the way he's come through the field, the line he's been able to run and just put that car wherever he wants. That car is running just right at the right moment here with just 12 laps to go. He's looking to the inside. Ooh, they made it really close. Laird able to get a little bit of an advantage there coming off the turn, but they almost make contact at the exit.
And wow,
ooh, he's pitching him
really
down.
Runs him all the way down, but Alex holds his line. He's going to muscle his way through there if he has to, and he is letting J.D. Laird know that he means business here today.
I told you, JD was not going to give him anything, and the battle continues. Here's the drag race down the back stretch, side by side, door to door.
They almost nudged each other there while going side to side down the back stretch.
That was JD trying to get a little speed with a little side draft, getting it just as close as he could. He's been able to carry momentum here right off the turn. He's neck and neck with him as they come across the line at him.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that side draft. Let's see who gets it at the line. It looks like Alex Bergeron had him just by the nose at the line for a second. We've got 10 laps to go, Sean. 10 laps for Alex to try to sort out everything here with JD, and if he can, then get his sights set on Chad Coleman. What Chad Coleman wants to see right now, you boys, you guys back there, you guys keep fighting. Let me get away from you. And so right now Chad Coleman's hoping that keeps on going for a little bit longer, as I think they've been side by side now for 2 solid laps. Alex Bergeron still back there, there's still nose and nose. I don't think anybody has a definitive advantage heading out of 4. Now it looks like Alex Bergeron's going to get just a little bit ahead. He's about a half car length ahead as they head to the start-finish line. And there it is. And meanwhile, while that's happening, wow, that's amazing. They actually gain time still on Chad Coleman running side by side like that, Sean.
And these are 2 drivers who've been working together for a long time. You can tell it. It's the side draft. They are picking up some great side draft on these machines. This Silhouette pony car is really got a lot of power on those straights with a little bit of help from the side draft. And look at the development here. Laird gets around Bergeron finally. Bergeron gives
Chad Coleman gets
leader.
He has to dive to the inside. J.D. Laird is going to get a great run after that slide, cutting into 1, and he's going to lose a whole bunch of spots here. He might drop all the way back to 5th by the time everything's said and done. Alex Bergeron's right on the back bumper of J.D. Laird. J.D. Laird now taking over the lead of this race, but the problem is now all of a sudden from a battle between 2nd and 3rd, you're going to have a battle between 1st and 2nd here. They know it's on the line. 8 laps to go.
Boy, Coleman's still having a little bit of trouble with the car, and Greer is the one having to deal with it. I would sure love to get around it, but it looks like Coleman has got things back in check now as he gets out of turn 4. But boy, that cost him a lot. Might have cost him the race, but we still have a little bit left here to get it done, Adam.
Really do, but that's going to be awfully tough to overcome. And of course, at this point, he's probably one guy that actually would not mind seeing a caution here in the next 2 laps or so. Any longer after than that, you're worried about iRacing ending the race. There is no green-white checker. There is no NASCAR overtime or anything like that here in iRacing. So if we get a caution at the end of the race, that will end it. But we're still not in that danger zone just yet. One guy that does not want to see a caution right now is J.D. Laird and also Alex Bergeron. They want to be able to fight this thing out. Jordan Hightower is right there ready to take advantage of any mistake by these two racers. As J.D. Laird's going to dive that thing going into turn one. And it looks like Alex Bergeron is kind of hanging back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Sean, do you think maybe he's trying to save his tires or something like that here for a final push?
Yeah, I think that side-by-side racing there for about 5 laps kind of took its toll. He's having to get off of it just a bit. But boy, he just took away Jordan Hightower's momentum back there in turn 1 and 2. And I would imagine Hightower has got a few expletives going right now in the seat. Can't be too happy with that. Bergeron, like you said, I think, yeah, he's throwing up for a run here. And, well, you got to pick your spots here with now only 5 laps to go as they come across the stripe. You're gonna have almost contact. Hightower almost gets into Bergeron, has to check up.
Meanwhile, more and more, once again, like the tail end of the other one. Oh, he's loose that time coming out of 2. Somehow doesn't manage to lose a whole lot of time. But man, he was sawing on that wheel trying to keep it straight. And that's one thing I'm just getting ready to say too that I'm noticing again. These guys really have to saw on the wheel again. Now Alex Bergeron right on the back bumper once again of J.D. Laird as they get ready to head down the front stretch. This has been one place where Alex Bergeron has really shown a lot of muscle as being able to power down this front stretch. He's right in the draft of J.D. J.D. trying to move just a little bit, getting to the preferred line early, try to break up a little bit of that draft. Not quite snaking, but he's still there. But he's getting through the corners. He's centered off, I think, right now. He's getting off better than Alex is getting off a little bit worse than what JD is. That's where JD's been able to stay in the lead, but Alex just has a lot of power right now.
Sullenberg just got by Cody Welker here about half a track to go, and it was a great battle side by side, but Sullenberg got himself solid in the top 10, up to 8. He's got
J.D. Laird is all over the place. And Alex Bergeron's going to try to make a room on him, trying to go on the outside as they go into turn 1. That yellow machine really going to try to push it here. Snakes in behind him, he dives, goes to 1. Fantastic move. Can he make it stick? He drifts up there.
Where's
just a little bit, and JD's into the wall.
Oh! JD's still trying to get it
Meanwhile,
together.
Jordan Hightower, as I mentioned, he's waiting for a mistake by one of those guys. He takes over the lead. Alan Clear and Chad Coleman are going to try to follow right in his tire tracks. And meanwhile, Alex Bergeron, it seems like he's a little loose. His tires are angry at him after that slide. Man, that was... Whew.
Slid all the way through the turn, basically through the last half of that turn. That car was sideways.
Two laps. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Please go.
I was saying 2 laps to go. Jordan Hightower now takes a commanding lead over Alan Creer, 0.2 of a second. The question now becomes Alan Creer. For the most part, he's just been hanging back there. It's been a little bit on the quieter side for him, and he doesn't have time to be quiet anymore. He needs to go after that lead. He needs to go after it now over Jordan Hightower. But Jordan Hightower has been strong all day long. Jordan Hightower's having to saw on that wheel to try to catch it coming out of 4. That allows Alan Creer to get a little bit of a run. Jordan Hightower cuts off the momentum of Alan as they get ready to head into turn 1. Alan Creer takes a look on the inside as he hits the white flag.
How about Alan Creer looking at a podium finish here? If he could just stay in it, he's going to have to fight off Chad Coleman and Bergeron back there, maybe even trying to get a win here.
I think he lagged back there. I think he played a Daytona Talladega move. Lagged back a little bit going into turn 1, so he can use that draft, try to catch a run. As we head into turn 3 and turn 4, Alan Creer is going to try to get a move. Jordan Hightower have to saw on that wheel. Alan Creer is going to take a look at the outside. Jordan Hightower moves a little high, cuts off the momentum. Jordan Hightower is going to be able to take this thing all the way to the start-finish line. Jordan Hightower takes the win of the King of Chins 150-mile race at Michigan International.
Boy, what a great run here tonight. I got to tell you, this was quite a race. I'm still catching my breath. Main Performance PC Grand National Series put on quite a show. Those last few laps were breathtaking. I think there are some feathers officially ruffled. Maybe some didn't appreciate a little bit of the driving that was going on there at the end, but pretty exciting stuff. You know what? I want to give just a quick shout out to the top 5 finish at Doy Woods. We saw Doy Woods early in this race a lap down. He manages to get that lap back and get it back together and get a top 5 finish tonight. Congratulations to him and his team.
Yeah, fantastic. That ended up being a really good decision. Going ahead and taking that pit stop after that incident on the front stretch where we had to make a trip down pit lane anyway. Jordan Hightower celebrating his win now on the front stretch. He's going to go ahead and tear up a little grass, leave a few black marks on the asphalt, and he's going to go ahead and just have himself a grand old time in that number 22 machine. So with that, your top 3 finish out the race, Hightower, Creer, and Coleman. We'll be back here in a few minutes to run down your finishing order, talk to a few people, and finish out the show. Well, that was a very, very exciting race. Of course, it's sometimes in close races like that, some feathers get ruffled and everything else, but ultimately ended up being a very, very exciting finish to the ASCORS race here today. In a few minutes, we'll get some interviews, but first, Sean, why don't we run down the finishing order? We're going to start with our winner today, the 22 car driven by Jordan Hightower. Alan Creer coming home in second, Chad Coleman in third, Alex Bergeron running in fourth, Doy Woods, as you were talking about, Sean, bringing home just a fantastic run after that problem early on, bringing that 91 car home in fifth.
All right, and Tommy Ryan bringing the Unacceptable Racing Chevy there home in sixth, Travis Sullenberg tough, long night for Solenberg, but he does salvage his 7th place finish. J.D. Laird going to have to settle for 8th. Joshua Campbell 9th, and Cody Welker going to round out the top 10 there in the Camaro.
In 11th, David Ankeny brings it home in 11th. 12th, E.J. O'Rourke. Brent Sweet running in 13th. John Prather running in 14th. Bradley Hubbard running in 15th there in that 00 Buckshot car.
All right, and John Wilco going to finish 16th tonight. Richard Beasley 17th. Steve Lubender going to be the last car on the lead lap tonight, 18th. Anthony Hyatt going to finish a lap down, and boy, we saw the trouble Dalby had there at the end of pit lane. He'll have to settle for 20th and 9 laps down tonight.
And to round out the field, Paul Nicholas Cooper, who we saw run into a little bit of trouble, finishing 21st, 22nd, Garrett Smithley. We were hoping for kind of a strategy race for Garrett there. It was not to be. Chris Sweet coming in at 23rd, 24th, Ryan Schoenberg, 25th, Joshua 10, 26th, I think he ended up getting a DNS, Jason Merritt.
Yeah, I think Jason had some connection issues there at the very beginning and did not make the start.
So with that, just a fantastic race. I believe we've got the winner right now in Victory Lane. Is going to take a moment to speak with us. He's not moved in. There he is. Sean, why don't you go ahead and talk to Jordan Hightower?
Jordan, what a race. A lot of excitement there at the end, but you bring that discount tire 22 across the line, the winner. You got to feel pretty good about that run.
Yeah, we've ran pretty good all year. It's just haven't quite made it to victory lane yet. But all I was doing there at the end was watching the 12 and the 23 because I knew what happened was going to happen. So I was just kind of biding my time and waiting for the inevitable to happen as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we thought Creer had a little bit for you there at the end. Thought maybe he was trying to save it for the last lap, but you're able to pull away. Congratulations on your first win of the season.
I appreciate that. Yeah, he was coming on pretty strong there. I got loose out of 4 coming to get to White, and I thought that was pretty much it. But you know, I've known him for a really long time, and I knew he wasn't going to dirty me up or anything, so that really helped a lot.
Jordan, I've seen your name around for a while. How long you been sim racing?
I started in 2005 with NASCAR Racing 2003 season game.
All right, so yes, you have a bit of a history here racing for sure, and ASCORS has been around for a long time, and what a great race tonight, a good field, and heck, you had 18 cars finish on the last lap. Got to feel pretty good about that for the series.
Yeah, we started off, we were having fields in the mid-30s, but I'm sure you guys have done a ton of broadcasts, and no big fields don't always mean it's going to be a great race. So, I mean, as long as we can keep the field, 25 to 30 strong cars, I think that's really good. I think that's where you want to be when you're a league.
Well, it certainly brought us a great race tonight. You like your chances heading into the next round?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm pretty decent at the remaining. I think we have 2 tracks remaining in this segment, and then the next segment should get off rolling pretty good too. So I feel pretty confident about it.
Well, Jordan, again, congratulations. Thanks for coming on in and chatting with us here for a minute. But that was a great run, and again, congratulations to you. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, Adam, that was Jordan Hightower, our big winner tonight, the number 22 Discount Tires machine, and I believe you have caught up with the podium finisher there, third place, Chad Coleman.
Yeah, Chad, a fantastic run today. I mean, a little bit of excitement there at the end of the race, but you're able to capitalize on it and bring it home third. Tell us about your day.
Yeah, we had a pretty good race going right there. We sat back, played our own little deal there, to try to save a little bit of tire. Some guys got away from us right there, but I feel like with the deal they were doing, pitting a little earlier and stuff, we could have come back and maybe made a run on them towards the end or something. But then the cautions played into stuff, and we went with a little different strategy with fuel and everything, and got me to the lead. And then I done what I didn't want to do the whole race, and I burned the right tire up on it. And that was pretty much it. It got looser and looser, and by the time I fell back there, I just backed off, and then it came back to me, but it's too late. It was gone, and it's hard to pass. But yeah, I kind of threw that one away, and then JD had it taken from him by some stupidity. So, but it went Jordan's way, and that's good. And Alan finished second, and we got lucky and got a third.
Now, as far as you mentioned burning the right rear tire off, I mean, one of the things that I was noticing a lot here tonight was you guys sawing on the wheel, to try to keep the car straight. Arm sore?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Probably feel it. You get a little sweat going when the car is all over the place like that. It'd hold up, it'd drive really good for about 10 laps, and then after that, the right rear tire was just gone, and that's when it became a lot of fun. You could make ground on people, and that's the kind of racing we like to do here. We don't really like the whole gripped up deal. So try to make it hot and fast and slick, and that's the way we like it.
Well, Chad, fantastic run for you today. Anybody you'd like to thank here real quick?
Just thank everybody at ASCORS, Brian Schoenberg, JD Laird. Thank race admin Josh Chin. Thank JD again, JDR Graphics, for painting my car, and you guys for broadcasting. It'll be fun. We'll go back and watch this one after a while.
Alrighty, well, hey Chad, thanks for talking with us, and once again, good job on a great third place finish here today.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Now, Sean, keep saying it was an exciting finish. Any final thoughts from you?
Well, my final thoughts are it was, the race started just like I expected it, with a really, really nice run. A lot of great drivers being very, very patient, but when the news started to tighten up a little bit there after that first round of pit stops, it got a little nervous, got a little anxious out there, and let's face it got a little aggressive. We saw a great race to the finish. I'm really a little surprised it didn't end in a caution there, but man, that was one to watch, and I had a blast working with you here tonight.
Yeah, I can say the same for you, Sean. It was a lot of fun. Of course, things really did get exciting there towards the end. It was really an exciting race all the way around. Great 150-miler today at Michigan. And of course, these guys up next week, we won't be bringing it with you here on GSRC, but it still might be worth checking out Spectator Mode or something, because they're going to be back on the road course, Road America 150, next Monday, August 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern for these ASCORS Grand National cars. And of course, once again, I would like to thank Sean Ambrose here today. Also, Jason Fleischle gets that second on my apologies. King of Chin sponsoring the race also today. Main Performance PC, the series sponsor. They do a great job with this series, along with ASCORS, being able to just put on a great show. Thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast, you see listed on your screen. And of course, thanks to our musical contributors, Eric Epholm and Casey Lalonde, whose music you can also find at the websites listed. Thanks to the team today. Proper thanks to Sean Ambrose, Jason, I think we call him Dr. Fleischle, and Dougie Beard for the cameras. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archive races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSRC Channel and Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel. Now, as far as the next race for these guys, as you mentioned, Road America next Monday. As far as broadcasts here on GSRC, they're rolling on your screen according to the PRL League and also the IDA League on August 31st during that morning. And, we'll have those scrolling on your screen here for just a minute. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.